Surrender to the stuff that has shaped your past, but don't allow it to determine your present or future worth. Hi, this is Tim, and I want to welcome you to another episode of The Daily Doable. It is gorgeous out here. It's getting close to nighttime, so I wanted to get out here before it got too dark and record this Inspire Point for you. The idea is surrender to the stuff that has shaped your past, but don't allow it to determine your present or future worth. Now, this is going to be a show and tell episode, as I usually do. None of the dogs are with me because I have some props I'm going to use tonight. Let me flip the screen. And I want to illustrate this concept of surrendering to whatever has shaped our past. But whatever that stuff is, it doesn't have to determine our present or future worth. Now, what you're looking at, this is at the edge of my property, and you're looking at some honeysuckle, and it's just starting to green out a little bit. But this stuff is real viney, and as my wife can attest to you, she was cleaning some of this out of one of her flower beds, and she was pulling on it and cutting it and pulling on it. It's real invasive, and it chokes stuff that it wraps around. You can just see how it's done that here. Well, I'm going to walk over to another section and show you something that's kind of cool. Those of you who know me pretty well know I like to make my own hiking sticks. Well, one of the things that's interesting about that is if you find a patch of honeysuckle, chances are there are going to be some small saplings, some small trees growing in that honeysuckle. Now, what has happened is, and I'm going to show you this. This is one of the ones that I've cut out before, and it's been drying in the barn. But what happens is, as that sapling begins to grow, the honeysuckle wraps around it. And you can see, I'm going to get real close here. You can see that the vines are almost like binder twine. They're that thick. And they wrap around the sapling and just choke it out. But what happens is it makes some very interesting shapes, okay? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these things that have been choked out, these saplings that have been choked out. And these interesting shapes are a derivative of that process. Now, if the sapling was left in that patch of honeysuckle, it's not going to do much good because it'll grow up and be a little tree, but not much else. But it has a potential function if you take the time to remove it from the honeysuckle, remove it from all the vines that are choking it out, and then you can turn it into something pretty cool. Let me show you my prop here. This is before. Now, obviously not the same stick, but this is what it can become. This is one of my hiking sticks, and you can see what I've done here is I've removed the vines, and I've removed the bark, and I just see what's underneath. There's some happy accidents there, and you can see, I'll get closer here so you can see. It's pretty cool what this can become. So something that has been useless and damaged by the honeysuckle can become a very functional stick and a very attractive stick. Now, that's a metaphor for what I want to talk about. There's a really cool quote that I like and I want to share with you now. It goes like this: God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And what that means is the stuff that can happen to us, the things we can get entangled in, they can choke us. They can get us wrapped around them and cause us to be influenced by them. But that doesn't have to be the end of our story. we can come out of those things that entangle us and are of a negative nature. And when we come out of those things, we can become useful. Now, the first thing that has to happen, though, is you've got to surrender to the idea of the things that have shaped you, because you can't do anything about that. It's in the past. The past can't be changed. However, you can change your present and you can change your future. And what was once something all gnarly and wrapped around with vines and useless can become something rather attractive, very useful, and very functional. And it's up to us to have a mindset that we're willing to surrender to the past, leave it there, but learn from it, learn from those things, those mistakes, those things, and some of which the things are out of our control. Learn from those things and become useful in the future. God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. I hope this Inspire point is helpful to you. So your daily doable is surrender to the past. Surrender it, but don't allow it to define who you are today and your usefulness and your purpose, because we all have a usefulness and a purpose in our life. And sometimes those things that have shaped us, that some people would look and say, well, there's nothing good can come from that person. Look where they've been. That's not the case. That can help you to be understanding to someone else going through the similar things. That also humbles us to realize that we can be of useful service. So I hope this is inspiring you. And I'm going to finish up my walk here tonight. But I wanted to encourage you to leave those things in the past. Learn from them, come out of those entanglements, and become useful today and in the future. So I'll sign off. This is Tim encouraging you to do what you can now. I'll talk to you soon.